Hello, everyone. I'm Brandon Clark with Balance Financial Solutions. This is the beginning of a periodic show that we're going to be doing where we get perspectives from clients, partners, and experts within the BFS community. Our first guest is going to be Cristina Caruso. She's a financial advisor with our partner, Alcumus Financial Group. Cris, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and who you work with?
Sure. So I'm Cris Caruso. I have been with Alcumus Financial Group for 16 years. I work with individuals and families and couples to improve their overall financial situation with comprehensive financial planning and asset management. I partner with people like you and estate attorneys to evaluate goals and create better achievement of goals, and looking at everything with an eye for risk and taxes and overall financial wellness.
Cool. So something that's probably on a lot of people's minds these days. Can you share your insights on the markets right now? Is now a good time to invest?
Sure. Yeah, the markets are in the news and in the media a lot. We've seen market volatility in March, where we had a big drop around the same time that we did our stay-at-home orders for the COVID virus. And we've seen, in a short period of time, we've seen a recovery of that. And it feels like the markets are kind of a big question for right now for people. Whether it's a good time to invest kind of depends on what your personal situation is. But I do feel like there could be some opportunity in the market if you're positioned well. But I also think that we may see some continued volatility over time. So, there's some nuance in what people's individual situations are and whether it's a good time to invest and what their goals are. And if investing aligns with those goals, because investing is about balancing risk and time horizon and trying to make a good match for those two things. So I think that's sort of something for folks to take a look at right now.
Okay. Yeah, no, I was going to say that's interesting, kind of separating out, the different time horizons and where people are, unique advice, essentially. What advice do you have for people who may be sitting on the sidelines right now or thinking, that there is going to be another downturn?
Yeah. I think one of the best pieces of advice that, a lot of folks say, it is not timing the market, but it is time in the market where you get your best returns. So we can't know. I don't have a crystal ball. I can't tell you what's going to happen and when it's going to happen. But what I can tell you is that a long-term disciplined approach to investing leads to good success in the market, or history says it leads to good success in the markets and in investing strategy. So I always worry when I hear people who want to take a big action because of a big event, when we actually probably have better success with a steady approach to investing. That said, I think if someone is sitting on a lot of cash right now, given the uncertainty of jobs, of the virus and the pandemic, cash isn't necessarily the worst thing to have on hand right now. If there's an emergency or an illness or something in your family that might need more cash than you typically would have. So we're recommending for a lot of our clients that they keep additional cash on hand. That said, there might be some opportunity in the market at a future time to take advantage of a sale or a downturn in the market. And we just have to wait and see what the markets are going to bring.
Okay. Let's see. And I guess along with that question, I was going to ask you, what advice do you have for people who want to get into the markets, who are really thinking, they saw that downturn before and, things have partially recovered and they're really excited.
Yeah, so I think a good reminder is that if you are an employee and you work for someone who offers you a retirement plan and you participate in that 401k, you're already in the markets. So you already are doing some what we call dollar cost averaging and some good regular investing. Um, I caution people who want to get into the markets for the first time in a situation where it feels like it's hot. Um, because often when we make investment decisions, fear and greed often drive some of the decisions that we make around a lot of things, but money in particular. And we just want to make sure that if you're looking to get into the market, that you're doing education, that you're educating yourself, you're understanding what the purpose of this money is, how much risk you are willing to take with it when you need it again, and all of that sort of shapes how the best strategy would be to get into the market right now.
Okay. I was going to say, I feel like this is a good segue into financial planning. Tell us, that is a big part of Alcumus's practice, and it's one of the things that I really like about, working with you guys is that you really open up the picture for especially tax planning as well. But tell me more about financial planning. What's it about? And what types of stuff do you cover? Why is it beneficial?
Sure. And I think everything that all of my answers, I don't mean to be vague in my answers, but part of why I do the financial planning the way I do it is because everybody's financial situation is unique. And so I can't just say, oh, yeah, do this, because we don't know all of the components. So part of what we do at Alcumus is comprehensive, big picture financial planning. We give specialized, individualized advice based on what people's situations are. So in my particular practice, I work with a lot of single women. I work with a lot of same-sex couples, and I work with a lot of retirees. And so in a lot of cases, they have very different financial goals and financial needs. We've got other folks in our practice that work with families with young children. We cover all the bases between everybody on my team, but in each case, we're listening very closely and carefully to what people tell us they want to achieve, and we're helping them put together a plan and a pathway to achieving those goals. And that includes everything from financial, like cash flow and net worth analysis, on a household side, and where you guys do that from a tax perspective with your business clients, we do that on the household side. Um, Looking at your retirement plan, maximizing your workplace benefits, looking at everything with you, with an eye for tax strategies, looking at everything for an eye with opportunity for where there may be risk exposure, life insurance, making sure that all your beneficiaries are in order. So very, very detailed, very specific financial advice. And that includes asset management and investment advice.
hmm Yeah, and you're actually leading into my next question, which was going to be, how does that plan, how are you different than a traditional, financial advisor or asset manager, and how does the financial planning kind of feed into that asset management
Yeah,
piece?
so we are what are called fiduciaries. So we, based on our licensing and what we do what is in our client's best interest. So being a fiduciary financial advisor makes us a little different than someone who's an asset manager, or someone says that they're a financial services professional. Um, the big difference is that we look to find the solutions that best suit our clients versus perhaps someone who sells only one specific product, or only manages assets and investments. So we do both as a holistic, surround sound strategy, but we're also not obligated to any one company in terms of the solutions that we offer.
Okay. Well, cool. Thank you very much for sharing, Cris.
You're welcome.
And we will talk to you on the next time we have you on.
I
Thanks.
look forward to it.
Bye.
Bye.